What we have been witnessing this year and this month in January 2019 is that the norms of politics in the West are collapsing. Every single day, something dramatic is happening. Now, we saw on the 23rd of January, Nancy Pelosi told Donald Trump she would not be inviting him to make the State of the Union address to the Congress in Washington. Now, this is part of the American Constitution. There's been a State of the Union address since George Washington in the 1790s. She has taken this unprecedented step to deny Donald Trump his annual address to the nation, to the American nation. This is just part of the ongoing insurrection of the Democrat Party in America. They will not accept that Donald Trump is the president. They will not give any respect to his authority. In fact, they just rubbish him and lie about him and denigrate him at every turn. The office that the president of America deserves respect for is just being rubbished. They're just showing themselves as like utterly opposed to the whole American Constitution. They will not accept the result of the 2016 presidential election. This is an insurrection against Donald Trump. And we've seen the American government get closed down. The bills aren't being signed. The money is not flowing to the employees of the state. The state's projects are not being financed. This is beyond any political norm that we've seen in the past. There's been shutdowns in the past, been very temporary, and there's been an immediate attempt at reconciliation. But this time, there seems to be no grounds for reconciliation. The two forces of American society, the Republicans and the Democrats, the globalists and the nationalists, the right and the left, are polarized. And the dialogue between them has collapsed. It is, in effect, an incipient civil war. It's gone beyond the norms of political life, party division, into an all-out attack on each side. So this is uncharted territory politically. We've never seen this in America, not to this extreme. Where's it going to go? Well, we look at the Democrat Party, people like Ocasio-Cortez, and they're just left-wing nutcases. These are the people now who are the front for the Democrat Party. These are the face of the Democrat Party. And they're just coming out with the most ludicrous left-wing nonsense. Now, Ocasio-Cortez has said that the world is going to end in 12 years' time unless we stop global warming. I mean, that's cultish, bizarre cultish rubbish. Everyone knows the world will not end in 12 years' time. I mean, it's like the predictions of the Mayan civilization or the imminent return of Christ. Everyone knows it's not going to happen. It's just what people say. It's just a perspective on the future. And the future is the Democrats have lost touch with reality and rationality, and they're actually attempting at every turn to undermine and overthrow the legitimate president of America. I mean, John Kerry, the former Secretary of State, a man with pedigree, has said Donald Trump should resign immediately. He should leave the office as President of America. Who was John Kerry to say that? He can't overrule the Electoral College that put Trump in position. So Trump is trying to safeguard the American borders. He's trying to make sure there's security in the south on the Mexican border. And for that, he's being faced with utter hostility and opposition from the Democrats. The Democrats want open borders. They want the immigrants to flow in. They don't want security for the American nation. They want to end the American nation. They want a post-national America. America to be a global society. And this is what we're facing. This is the dialect. The globalists want to destroy our nations. And this is why the right cannot submit to this process of intimidation from the Democrats. They've got to stand up. Trump has got to be stubborn and he's got to be resilient. And he is. He cannot give in to these demands. He cannot say that the survival of America as a nation is not important, because it's crucial. That's why he's there. That's his responsibility. And he's not going to give in. Because although the Democrats won the House of Representatives, that's only one of the 4 branches of government in America. They don't control the presidency. They don't control the Senate. That's crucial. That blocks any impeachment proceedings. They don't control the Supreme Court. And that's what really riles them, that they can't overthrow the laws of America by having sort of left-wing judges going against the Constitution and the Supreme Court, as we've seen in the past. Trump has got control of the judiciary through the Supreme Court, and he can therefore resist effectively the Democrat insurrection, and he can counterattack. Trump is the commander-in-chief. Trump can bring forth emergency powers and rule by diktat. He can rule by executive orders in America, as long as he's within the American Constitution and legal framework. So he can counterattack against this Democrat insurrection. And he's not going to be pushed aside, because he believes in what he's standing for. He believes in making America great again, in the prosperity of the American nation, in the security of the American nation. And he knows that the Democrats' whole drive now is to destroy the identity of America. The Democrats want to change the demographic of America, remove the Europeans who created the American nation. The United States of America was created by European immigrants, and replace them with third world immigrants. I mean, this is all sort of ultimately a battle of race for the Democrats. They seem to have this instinctive hostility to white males. We are their enemy. They have put us up as their target to be destroyed, the white male. Now, we saw this in the Covington Catholic Schools fiasco, where these young lads were vilified, demonized, because they didn't back down in the face of ethnic radicals who got in their face. In fact, these Catholic lads from the Covington School in Kansas simply laughed it off. And that was seen by the left as outrageous. White supremacy, that needed to be smashed. And this is the Democrat mentality. They've lost any sense of objectivity, any sense of moral perspective. They just see white people now, white males, as a target to be destroyed. We're facing a type of madness here. And Trump has got to stand firm against it. He's got to face it down. And he is facing it down. And that's what they really resent, because Trump's not going away. And the nation state isn't going away. And the people of America, like the people of Europe, have had enough of this. They've had enough of being vilified. They've had enough of being demonized for being themselves. I mean, we see in Europe, Macron and Merkel have got this notion of a post-national Europe, where the Brussels bureaucracy controls a global state on the European continent, in which the indigenous people of Europe, the Europeans, have effectively been dispossessed and replaced by third world immigrants. They want in Europe what the Democrats want in America. But the added ingredient in Europe is Islamification. They see the Muslim masses as being their source to replace the European Christians. These globalist elites have no interest in the ordinary people of their nations, the ordinary voters. This is a complete casting away of democracy. They have no respect for democracy. Merkel and Macron claim that they're standing up for democratic norms against nationalists. Not in the least. Their idea of democratic norms is that the elite rules as they see fit, and the ordinary populations are pushed out. The populists, they call us. People who stand up for the people are the populists, as if we're not true democrats, as if we don't really deserve a voice, that our opinions don't really count. But we've had enough of this. We've had enough of this patronising attitude, which is aimed at our destruction. This is the point. These people want to destroy European culture, European civilization, American culture, American civilization. And it's the same in Latin America. We've seen the rise of Bolsonaro Bolsonaro in Brazil, who's the Trump of the Latin America. We've seen now the fall of the remnant of the Hugo Chavez regime in Venezuela. It's being overthrown. The people have had enough of this left-wing socialism, this destruction of national cultures. And so we're standing up and we're asserting our right, our identity, our security, and also we want our prosperity. Because the globalist drive is to push industry out of their heartlands in Europe and America into the third world. They're trying to deindustrialise the West. In fact, they've come a long way to achieving that. And these are our jobs. These are our careers. This is where our pride, our engineering works and our manufacturing was the pride of the West. And there was no need to move it to the third world if they had the right taxation policies and the right trade policies. We would have a prospering industry in Europe. But the globalists didn't want that. The reason all these things are happening, mass immigration, the deindustrialisation of Europe, the erosion of our borders, the loss of our national identity, is that this is what the globalists want. These are not accidental products of other causes. This is what their deliberate plan is. And the whole thing is to disempower and destroy the indigenous peoples of Europe and America. And we can't sort of grasp that because it seems so horrendous. What's the point of that? Because they are the elite. They see themselves as a sort of strata, a caste above the rest of us who simply dictate to us, who know what's best for the world. They see themselves as global players, not defenders of their nations. It's like a man who's the father of his family ceases to take the responsibility of being a father and sees himself as a citizen of his city and puts his city above his family. It doesn't work. It's madness. And what we're seeing unfold is acts of madness now. And we see this in the media because the reporting of the political dramas that are unfolding every day has ceased to be objective now. We have a media which simply pushes globalist propaganda. It doesn't want to give both sides of the story. It doesn't want to have a neutral perspective. It doesn't want to say what's really happening here. It simply wants to denigrate nationalists and make nationalists out to be bad people. Don't vote for the nationalists, they're bad people. Don't vote. It's like down with us, down with the British. That's what the British media sort of proclaim, really. And promote the non-British, promote the third world immigrants, promote Islam, promote any outsider. And we who stand up for our traditions and for our own children and our own future, we are regarded as somehow sinister, to have a self-interest, sinister to want to give our children a future. It's sick what is happening. It is really sick what's happening in the West. But thanks to Donald Trump, he's the key to it all. We're fighting back and we're going to win. Because Trump's going to win in America. And we see Salvini in Europe. And Salvini has done something unprecedented. He's attacked the president of France. And he said to the Gilets jaunes, the yellow vests, rise up and overthrow the elected president of France, Emmanuel Macron, because he's a lunatic. He's a madman who's destroying your country. And it's so true. And the French people know this. And that's why the Yellow Vest protest have gone on and on and on. They're in their 10th week now. They're still getting 80, 90,000 people on the streets. When the climate gets a bit warmer, as we come to these May elections in Europe, these key elections for the European Parliament, the Yellow Vest are going to explode again. There's going to be hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions on the streets of France, and Macron will not survive because Macron does not deserve to survive. He doesn't have the interest of France at heart. And we see in Germany the weakness of Merkel and this elite who now know that the people of these countries are waking up and realising, and the awakening is happening now throughout the West, that these elites are not serving our interests. These elites are not forwarding our agendas. They're forwarding another agenda which is hostile to us. And in the May elections in Europe, as we draw close to that, there's going to be a real shaking in European politics, a real resurgence of nationalist feeling, of national parties. And I'm really hopeful that where this is going to end up is nations are going to be saved. I'm optimistic that we'll win. I'm optimistic that the tide of immigration, the process of Islamization, the process of dispossession in the West is going to be ended, and it's going to be reversed, and we will be victorious. And we have the people now in place and the leaders emerging that will make that happen. So join the fight back. Thank you for watching this video. We're putting out messages as often as we can now to stir up the people of this nation and the people of the West to fight back on behalf of their nations, to have confidence that we can win. We're trying to buy new equipment. We want to buy a small camera so that we can film outside, and we want to buy some radio mics so we can get good sound quality outside. So we're looking for funds really to promote this work that we're doing. So if you support us and you want to invest in this battle to save our nation, there's a PayPal link in the description. If you can, please make a donation. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell as well so you get a notification of any future videos we make. We're turning out 2, 3, 4 videos a week now, and we're going to keep on this battle until we win. Thank you.